Okay, today I'm going to take a little risk. I'm going to swim against the current when everybody else isn't. Because there's something that I feel I need to say. Something that God just showed me here a little bit ago. I had to run up to the grocery store, and I don't know if God talks to you at the grocery store, but he talks to me everywhere. And I want to share this, even though it may make some people mad or confuse you if you don't listen to everything I'm saying, misunderstand, whatever. But I'm going to take a chance. So, I'm not a real political person. Never have been. I mean, I care about politics because, what's going on politically definitely affects my life. And, I try to stay up on what's going on much more than I used to. But I try to, keep up with things. But I'm not out there, I'm not affiliated with a political party. I decided not to be a long time ago. And what I vote my conscience. I vote what I believe God wants me to vote. And I definitely have strong feelings on things and opinions. But I'm not one that wants to sit around and talk about politics and argue about it or anything. I don't like to argue about anything. But anyway, so this is not trying to be political, okay? Even though some people will probably take it that way. But this is about swimming against the current when everybody else is going with it, because it's much easier. If you've ever been in a river, we used to float on inner tubes in the river and stuff, and the current will pick you up and take you. But to try to go against that current, that's a little more difficult, a little more complicated. So when I went up to the grocery store, now at the time that I'm recording this, it's a holiday weekend. So the store was really full. And we're at a time where the mandates, there's no mask mandates or social distancing mandates or anything. And people have gotten very comfortable with that. And so, like I said, the store was very, very full. And when I'm in the parking lot and I'm seeing all these people, I don't see one mask. Now, I've still been seeing, a few people will have a mask on when you go in the store or whatever. But today I know there was nobody. And truly, as I went through the store, nobody had a mask on except me. Now, I didn't put my mask on for maybe why you would think. Because God told me I needed to put my mask on because I need to practice swimming against the current when everybody else is flowing with it. I need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so here's the thing, because when I put a mask on and I went in that store, I was getting looks from people like, girl, don't you know you don't need that? What? Look, that old lady, she's scared. She gonna get sick. And I'm not scared. I'm not scared about getting sick at all. I try to be wise and healthy and responsible, but I'm not afraid. And I know that whatever happens, God takes care of me. I turned everything over to him a long time ago. So it's not fear or anything, but there is another benefit to where you might want to put a mask on if you're like me. So to go against things, I remember a lot of times I would give in to things when my friends would give me a hard time. I got to have a sip of coffee. Sorry, guys. I really need it today. But there would be times when people would put pressure on, kids and whatever. And sometimes I didn't give in and sometimes I did. I remember in high school, I went to a birthday party and the parents were there and everything. And when I got there, I was very shocked to find out it was a kegger. And I'd never been to a kegger, and I don't even know if I knew what a kegger was, to tell you the truth. I was pretty innocent of a lot of things. But I found out that day, and everybody was drinking, and the parents were supplying the kegger, and or the keg. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the beer was being supplied by mom and dad for the kid and all his friends. And even some of my friends from church were there, walking around with their little red Dixie cup. And, and there were people like, hey, don't you want something to drink? And it was like, no. Now that day, against everybody else doing it, I was the one kid, I think. There might have been maybe 2 or 3 other ones, but I didn't drink. I didn't even pick up a cup to try to look like I was and look cool. No, I didn't want to even be associated with it. And actually, most of the kids were really cool about it and really respected, my decision, and it wasn't that big a deal. But I said no, and I'm glad I said no. But then there was another time that same year, or maybe it was the next year. But anyway, I was still in high school. My mom and dad were out of town. My younger brother was staying with somebody, and so I was home alone. My older brother was married. And so he was like, well, you probably don't, not safe for you to be alone or whatever. Well, what it was we had cable TV finally. See, when I first was growing up, there wasn't such a thing as cable TV, and the TV stations were only on for certain hours. And if you're old like me, you know what a test pattern was. And, and the national anthem that would play, and all the different things. That TV was very different for us, black and white only. But we had a color TV with cable, and that's what my older brother really was into. So there was this demonic movie that had come out a few years before, and when it came out, my dad had told my younger brother and I, you guys are not to go see that movie. My parents, they did keep track of what movies we went to and stuff. We couldn't just go to the movies, and not at that time, when we were too young at that time to drive. Now, by the time this happened where we had cable, I had a driver's license and I could drive, and, and I could take care of myself. I was fine. But my brother and his wife came over, and he's like, that movie, it's on cable tonight, and I'm going to watch it. He goes, you should watch it. And I'm like, no, Dad said not to watch it. That's not good. No, you should watch it. And he started, both my brothers knew how to get to me, call me chicken, or I was just being mean, or I was being stupid. They knew the little things they could say to me that would get me ready to fight and prove a point. So my brother, he poked and prodded and bugged me until I was like, you know what? Because he's like, it's just a movie. It doesn't mean anything. Demons aren't going to jump out of the TV at you. Oh, it's fine. What's wrong with you, and blah, blah, blah. So I finally said, okay, fine, I'll watch a stupid movie. Oh, I regret that. So I gave in and went with the flow, because it was a whole lot easier than swimming against the current. And that movie put images in my mind and words in my mind, stuff that, it still makes me cringe all these years later. I wish I'd never watched that movie. So that was the time I gave in. Well, the last few years, there's been a lot of things going on. People got sick, and some people died, and some people did fine. And, and when they first announced that this illness was going around, I knew they're going to come up with some kind of a vaccine or something, to protect us. And I've really changed a lot in the last 10 years, and I'm very different with my health care. And I'm not saying that everybody should be like I am, so I don't really talk about it much, but I know that it's what's right for me, and the outcome that has happened in my own personal health has been amazing. And so I'm way better off than I was the way things used to be. So, I don't do medicine. I do natural medicine. I pick herbs out of my yard and wild weeds that, I took classes, I learned about it. And so I kind of, I take care of my own thing, and I'm way better than when I was taking the other. But that's me. Okay. You do you. But, and that's kind of what this is about, is following our convictions and not doing something because somebody else is doing it or telling us to do it. So my big disappointment was, I asked God, what do you want me to do about this? When they offer this, and God gave me a very clear answer, and I have stuck to God's answer, and I've not swayed. And trust me, I've been under a lot of pressure from different people. I've had a lot of threats, and, and being told stupid, I hope you die, and that's just the family. Anyway, it has been challenging. But what was disappointing to me was the number of friends that I had that said, okay, God told me not to do this, not to get this shot when it came out. Okay. And at first they were holding to that, but then, well, we can't keep living where we're living if we don't get it. And so they got it. Well, I'm going to get fired from my job if I don't get it. So they got it. Well, my family's not going to let me come over and be around them anymore if I don't get it. So they got it. And on the reasons went. And I watched people that I didn't think would ever buckle. And it really opened my eyes. See, my whole life, I've been being taught about the mark of the beast. Now, if you don't know what that is the last book of the Bible is the book of Revelation, and it is a book of prophecy and visions and all about the end times. And in it, it tells us that there is this mark that people will be taking either on their right hand or their forehead, and that it will be, to take it, people will take it so they can buy and sell, because you're not going to be able to function in the society of the world without it. And so that's why people will take it. But it is somehow connected to, you have to deny, if you have faith in Jesus Christ, you have to deny him. And that's the big danger, right? We don't, if we deny him, he'll deny us. I don't want him to deny me. So we've been taught all these years, don't take that mark, don't take that mark, don't take that mark. And there's been a lot of emphasis on it. And even now, as we see many of the things that the book of Revelation talk about, of the prophecies and stuff being fulfilled, okay, still, there's a lot of attention on it, and everybody's worried, oh, this is going to be the mark, or that's going to be the mark, or don't do this and don't do that, and there's been some stuff that, people they're worried about it, understandably so. I think that when it comes to the actual mark, we will definitely know what's going on if we're even here. But if we're here, if you're still alive when it happens, I don't think you're going to be bamboozled into it and fooled. You'll know the stand you're taking. And it will be at a time when there is one power that controls the entire earth. And so that time, we're not there yet, but it's coming. But the thing God was talking to me about today is all the other things that happen in life. And if I give in because of how somebody's going to look at me, or what they're going to say to me, or how they're, or that what I'm going to lose from it, they don't want to be my friend anymore because of it, or whatever, then how am I ever going to stand up when my life depends on taking that mark? Because that's the other thing. People that don't take the mark, most of them will be killed. Eventually will be killed for not having the mark. So, and that's the mark of the beast. All right. So he was like, when I pulled up to the grocery store and it was really, really crowded, and he's like, put your mask on. Okay. Not for the reason you think, but I want you to walk through that store and not be fazed by the looks, the comments, whatever anybody has to say about it. You go in, you do what you need to do, and you come out. And don't succumb to the pressure, because you need to toughen up. I'm in training. My spiritual muscles are in training, and I've got to be strong. And so I did that, and I was the only person, the only one. There wasn't one other person that I saw with a mask. And trust me, just about everybody was looking at me and like, oh, but I did it. And I just was like, you know what? This is kind of cool, because I succumbed to that pressure. I don't like to be, have attention drawn to me. I don't like to stand out in the crowd. I like to blend in, go unnoticed, fade back. When you're in class in school and you knew they were going to call on somebody, I'd be like trying to blend as much as I could. Don't call on me unless I really had something I wanted to say. Oh, please don't call on me. I just want to fade into the wallpaper. But to really be a follower of Christ, we're going to have to stand out. We're going to have to look and act and be different than everybody else, going with the flow. And then when we do have these threats that come up that you can't live here anymore, or you can't, have this job, or you can't buy food anymore, you can't use any money anymore. If those pressures, or when those pressures come, even before the mark of the beast, I don't want to compromise my faith. I want to stand strong and do what I know is right. So today I was tested and I passed the test, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I just want you to think about it. Are you trying to blend in? Are you trying to just go with the flow because it's so much easier? Or are you willing to go against the current in order to not compromise your faith? All right. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Share this video with your friends if it's touched you. If you want to tell me I'm crazy in the comments, that's fine too. Whatever. I guess that's part of exercising my spiritual muscles. It's okay. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Love ya.